Hey guys, it's Jen, and I'm excited to be back with a new Felicity Jane process video for you. Today I'm going to start a little bit differently and show you how you can use the subscriber printables as a print and cut in your Silhouette software. If you don't need to know how to do this, then you can go ahead and skip through this part of the video to the layout, and I'll be sure to insert a time here that you can skip to. Each month, if you're a subscriber, you get free printables, and this month we're including a cut file that you can so it's easy to make it a print and cut in your Silhouette software. So there are two versions. There's a PNG version, and then if you have the Silhouette Studio Designer Edition, there's also an SVG version available. Plus there's a PDF file if you're not going to use your Silhouette to cut these out. So what I've got open right now is the PNG version of the cut file, and the PNG version of the cut file or of the printables has two different files that you're going to use. It has this pretty normal looking file, and then it also has a blacked out version. Now this is the version that we're going to trace to get the cut lines that will go around this file. So I'm going to show you that first, and then I'll show you the SVG quickly. So what you're going to do is in the black version of the cut file or of the printables, you're going to open up the trace window, which is up here at the top. It's a butterfly with a yellow outline. You're going to choose select. So you're just going to drag the trace window over the entire shape, and it will highlight it in yellow. Now you can see the bottom of my cut file isn't highlighted for some reason. And I don't know why, but my Silhouette software has been doing this lately to me, and it's just the software, it's not the cut file. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll just trace that, and then I'll trace the bottom half. So what I'm going to do is you're going to unclick High Pass Filter, and then choose Trace. And now I'm just going to go over it again, the bottom half, because the top half is the only thing that got traced. I'm going to do the same thing. Now what I'm going to do is move this bottom piece out of the way so you can see that I've traced all of that. And I'm just going to group these two pieces together. Now this shouldn't happen to you. I don't know why this is doing it for me in my software, but this won't happen for you probably. So I'm just going to select both of these shapes and group them. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this over to the other file and line them up. So I'm going to just cut this. So I'm doing Command X on my Mac and then paste it over here. And you can see that it pastes right on top of the cut file. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit to make sure that everything looks pretty lined up. And it looks good to me, so I'm not really going to do anything to change that. So that's looking good. So that's how easy it is to trace with the PNG version of the file. So let me show you what you'll do with the SVG version. So you're going to open the SVG, and it's going to look like this regular printable. But when I open it up, it's going to be blacked out. You'll still need to open up the printable PNG version of the file as well. Just with this particular, with the SVG cut file, you don't have to trace, you just turn on the cut lines. So you're just going to have the file selected, and you're going to go to the cut settings window and choose cut, and you can see the lines just show up for me. Now it does have this line for the outside edge of the paper. I'm just going to delete that. So what I'm going to do at the bottom here, I'm going to click ungroup, and then I'm just going to choose that outside line and delete it. And then I'll just go over them again and group them. I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other one. I'm going to paste it. Now this is pasted in just the right spot, and I know that, but I'm going to go ahead and just show you how you can make sure. So I've got it selected. I'm going to change my fill color to clear and the line color to red, just so I can see that it's there and it's in the right spot, and that looks good to go. So now either way that you do that, you're going to need to turn on your registration marks. So that's going to tell your Silhouette where to cut. So I'm going to go to this first one that I created. I'll zoom back out. And I'm just going to turn on the registration mark. So in the style drop down, I'm going to choose type 1 because I have a cameo. You could also do this with a portrait. It's already sized to 8.5 by 11. And that's what I'm going to print on. And I'm just going to, what you want to make sure is that everything is contained within the red outside line, as well as nothing should be touching the gridded area. And this bottom tag is a little bit close, so I'm just going to make the bottom inset go down a little bit. And you can see it's just moving slightly. And that's enough right there. And then I'm ready to go ahead and cut it. So I'll print it with my printer, and then I'll just send it through my cameo and cut these out. And then I'll come back and show you where we're going to start for today's Inspired By video. Hey guys, it's Jen, and I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be working with. First of all, let me show you what I'm going to be inspired by today. So I'm just going to show you on my phone, but I'll try to insert a photo as well, and there will be a photo over on the Felicity Jane blog too. So I have a Pinterest board called Inspiration, where I pin things that could inspire a layout, but they aren't layouts. So this is just some photos that are taped to a wall or a board or something, but I thought it would be fun to do sort of a minimalistic, like loose, just taped up stuff kind of look on my layout today. And so I pulled a few things that I'm going to be possibly using. I printed those printables, and to be quite honest, they're not exactly the colors, they're not as vibrant as what I saw on the screen, but they worked out great. And they will be perfect for this layout. So I'm going to use a couple of these, probably some of the squares. I don't know about the other things, but they're nice and cut out for me now, and I might have to cut just this piece out several more times because I love that floral piece. It's so pretty. So I'm using a couple of photos of my daughter with a horse. My husband's family has a tradition of doing a New Year's ride every New Year's Day, and so that was the first thing that we did this year. And so I'm going to use some of maybe one or two of these cards in combination with my photos to get a kind of look like this, where everything is just kind of laid out on the page. And I'm going to use some washi tape. This is just some clear Project Life by Becky Higgins washi tape, and it kind of has like a creamy undertone to it. And then for my background, now if you watched my unboxing video, I forgot to show the cardstocks. So this cardstock has a little, I'm going to try to zoom in on it here, a little Swiss dot on it, which is super cute. It's embossed. You can kind of see it with the light there. And so I'm going to use that as my background. It's just interesting enough to give a little bit of texture without taking away from what I want to do on this layout and keep it pretty minimal. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward and get going on this layout, and I'll tell you what I'm doing as we go along. So because I have a clear idea in mind at the beginning of this layout, this is going to be super quick. I am going to use 3 of those square die cuts that are from the subscriber printables for the month, and I'm going to use 2 of the 3x4 cards from the cut apart sheet that was a 12x12 that comes in the kit. And I'm just making quick decisions, and I know that this is just going to be kind of a bunch of squares and rectangles haphazardly laid down on the page, and then I'll tape them down later. So I'm deciding on a title right now, and I thought it would be New Year's Ride, but instead of focusing on the aspect of the fact that it was a ride for New Year's Day, I have more pictures from this event that I'll use to talk about that. I wanted to make the title of this layout Horse Girl because my daughter becomes easily obsessed with things. And I wanted to talk about how her current obsession is horses, especially after having this ride after so long. It had been a while since she had ridden a horse, and so she can't stop talking about horses. So I wanted to be sure to document that. I'm contemplating using a stamp here. I don't end up doing it. I just want to keep it really minimalistic. So I just took that little card that says 1 on the bottom over to my typewriter and typed up some journaling, just about what I was talking about before. And now I am just taping everything into place. I'm not using any adhesive other than the tape for now, so that I can move things around if I want to. And I'm just trying to get a look that looks kind of like it was just placed there. Just like in the inspiration piece, I'm overlapping some and putting some that aren't overlapped, and I'm moving the tape around so that you can see it. And on a really minimal layout like this, the little details make a big difference. So even though you can't see that tape very well in the video, it shows up in real life and it gives just the right touch to what I needed for this layout. So now I'm just pushing around that gorgeous floral piece, and I know I want to bring in some of that pink, and I remembered there was another square that had the heart on it. So now I have 3 of those squares, and I have 3 areas where there's pink. So the little heart square, my daughter's coat, and then the floral piece. And I really like that. So I'm just going to move around the tape so that you can see it on each piece. And I'm going to overlap the floral on top of the 3x4 card. And so that makes me move my title down a little bit, which is good. And I really like that a little part of the title is white on white. It just lends to that whole minimal feeling that I'm going for. And these puffy stickers are nice and soft and puffy, and I love that. So now I'm going to adhere everything down because I like where it is. And you can see on my journaling piece that I did leave a little space where I knew that the photo would overlap it. And I'm just going to move things around so they're just spaced enough apart and just overlapped enough and just fiddle with it a little bit. But really this layout took very little time. So now I am just lifting up some of the pieces. I really want it to look like they're little pieces of paper that I just kind of laid down onto the page. So I liked the idea of lifting things up so that the corners were flying up a little bit. And I am going to put a flare that says "Love this little minute." And then lastly, I'm going to add this paper clip at the top, just kind of going with that whole papery feel. And now I'm going to fluff up the edges just a little bit more. And that is going to finish this one off. I really love the way that this one turned out, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a close-up view of it. It's going to be really quick. But be sure to check out felicityjane.com on the blog so that you can see close-up photos, and I'll also have that inspiration photo there as well. And you can check out my Pinterest. I'm Crafty Jen Scow on Pinterest. And check out my inspiration board where you can see lots of different options for being inspired on your next layout. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.